If patent data is publicly available, you might expect it to be easy to search. But in reality, finding the right information is far from complex than most people think. So how do professionals actually search for patents today, and where does it go wrong?
A few things compound. First, patents are written in a very specific legal and technical language. The same invention can be described completely differently depending on the jurisdiction, the language, and the drafting style of the attorney. Secondly is the scale. You're searching across hundreds of millions of documents in dozens of languages. A search for battery technology in English won't find the relevant Chinese filings that describe the same concept using entirely different terminology. Thirdly, the classification systems like the IPC and CPC codes can help, but they were designed decades ago and can't capture the nuance of modern cross-disciplinary inventions.
How and where do people actually search for IP today?
Most IP professionals use a combination approach. There are many commercial platforms out there, and there are also free databases like Espacenet, Google Patents, and individual patent office portals. The standard approach is Boolean search. You construct queries using keywords, classification codes, and operators like and, or, and not. It's precise but rigid. In practice, experienced patent searchers spend days or even weeks building and refining query strings, testing them, reviewing results, and iterating. It's a highly manual and highly skilled type of work.
So what if I needed to find everything relevant to, say, battery technology? What would I actually be doing right now?
So you'd start by identifying the right classification codes for battery technologies. Then you'd build keyword strings around terms like lithium-ion, solid-state electrolyte, cathode materials, and so on. You'd run that across multiple databases because there's no single one that covers absolutely everything. You'd probably search in English first, and then you'd wonder whether you're missing Japanese or Chinese filings. And then you'd review hundreds or thousands of results manually, reading the abstracts, checking the claims, filtering out irrelevant hits. A thorough search on a topic like that can really take weeks.
Okay, so what goes wrong with that process, and why doesn't free patent search get you there?
The fundamental problem is that you're matching words and not searching by meaning. If the patent describes the same concept using different terminology, you're going to miss it. Language is another big problem. Chinese patent describing a novel battery chemistry might use completely different terms, or they may be translated poorly. That is covering the same invention as a US equivalent, but if you're only searching in English, you might completely miss that. And then there's the human bottleneck. Even the best searcher can only review so many documents. At scale, things inevitably slip through. Free tools and open source databases are great for quick lookups, and they've made patent data much more accessible, and that's genuinely a good thing, but they have real limitations for professional use. Coverage gaps, limited search operators, no real analytics, and no way to integrate results into your own workflows. But the bigger issue is that all of these tools, free or paid, still rely on the same fundamental approach, matching keywords. They're searching text, not understanding concepts. That's a structural limitation.
So, even with commercial tools, you could still be missing things? Why?
Each professional platform also has its own strengths and weaknesses. That's why we find many commercial IP departments use multiple tools. You're really trying to evaluate what sort of coverage they have, and fundamentally, none of them solve the meaning problem. If the concept exists but the words don't match your query, you won't find it, and that's the real gap that we're trying to address.